Hey folks, I'll do a Friday visit with you on the 28th of July. The month is almost over. Cheers, people. Feeling better today. Everett, if you see this, I love that message you sent me. I had completely forgotten that little moment that I shared about my dad with Mellow Yellow. Completely forgot it, and it just brought such a moment of joy. Just a simple little memory jogged by a friend, Everett. Thank you for sending that to me. So yeah, this is the new light. I'm not going to get another camera. This one works. You know what I'm saying? What's the point? I'm getting used to the way the light looks in the room. Um, One of the I forget his name. I think you're in Canada. Asked some questions about light and the color of bulbs, and those are some details that I had never really paid attention to because how often do you buy light bulbs? So something new to learn. I may yet find the right color of bulb for the room here. So yes, I'll talk about the passing of Randy Meisner of Poco and the Eagles. It's unfortunate. Rest in peace. Apparently COPD related. But he had been like in, I guess, pretty rough shape for years now because of alcoholism. A couple things about Randy Meisner that strike close to home for me, why I want to bring him up. I respect him and his musical legacy. I'm not a big country music fan. There's some country type of songs that I like. But the Eagles are overplayed in the Midwest. Here in Nebraska, you know, I'll be slightly political. We're dealing with these really immature far right and far left. Both sides that are far right either are ridiculous. But the far right are especially ridiculous in that they do what they complain about, which is shove shit down your throat. The Eagles are an example of where Clear Channel shoves the Eagles and certain bands down our throat. You cannot escape hearing the Eagles on the radio here in Omaha. I don't think there's a good reason for it. They aren't that popular. But anyway, Randy Meisner is originally from Nebraska. So I love that fact, and it also is illustrative of the fact that the flyover state of Nebraska, which it has been forever, is actually forever been a hotbed of important talent and important figures in all phases of life, especially art. Randy Meisner, I don't have any Eagles records anymore. Like I began to say, I've had so many records over the years. I've had people give me records, and so I know I've owned the album Desperado for a while because it was given to me, but I've never bought any Eagles records. And in my 45 collection, I know I still have a single of Tequila Sunrise. I really liked the song Witchy Woman when it came out. They're a good band, and they earned their fame. So I respect the Eagles. But a personal connection is the Nebraska thing. Randy Meisner is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nationally, but he's also in the Nebraska Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and so am I. And it is a point when I was inducted and I looked to see who all was already in, that was a point of pride to see Randy Meisner along with Buddy Miles, Preston Love, and some other names. It felt like I'm good enough to be added in that number. I mean, there's a whole lot of folks in the Hall of Fame here in Nebraska I know nothing about, but there are the reasons why they're included. And Randy Meisner being one of those people is a point of pride for me that, I'm in that number. I'm a Hall of Famer too for the state of Nebraska. But like Sinead O'Connor, I hope that, there's no hope, but he's gone, so he's at peace. And so that's worth mentioning. Going back to Sinead O'Connor, I looked at my Discogs to see what else I had with her on it, and you forget stuff. The Mind Bomb. This is a great album. And I have a lot of respect for Matt Johnson. Actually, back in my traveling days of going to see shows, I went up to Minneapolis with my friend Frank to see the in concert. It was after Johnny Marr had left already. But I rated Matt Johnson enough to make this trip. The show was slightly disappointing, to be honest with you. But Matt Johnson has made some fantastic albums. Mind Bomb, here's an example of someone who doesn't sing very well, but it's what he's saying and the musical settings. His musical settings at this time were really powerful. He had Johnny Marr in the band on this album, and what he's saying on these songs is really powerful. But his duet with Sinead O'Connor here is sonically probably the highlight. Vocally, it's definitely the highlight. The song Kingdom of Rain on here. It's really a Sinead O'Connor song. She takes her part where she's duetting with him, talking about relationships, and she just kills it. She has that voice that was... Her voice was soaked with emotion. That's how I'll describe Sinead O'Connor. And Mandinka and Troy, that I couldn't think of it yesterday. When that video first came out, that caught my attention. I really liked that song. But her angst, was something that I wasn't drawn to listen to, so I didn't buy her. But since her passing, I have spent some time online watching mainly videos, and she's done a lot of brave stuff, worked with hip-hop artists, and has never strayed or been afraid of making value statements that, from my perspective and from my set of values, she's always been right on point, trying to point out corruption and evil and madness. Rest in peace, Sinead. She was a huge artist. Actually, she was. So, if y'all don't mind, I have another personal update to share with you, a good one. And it's musical. So, I'll try to put it in context. So, David Nance Band, I joined that band a few years ago. They're down on the road again right now in the South. And the other bass player is playing, Sam. But I'm on the album. We'll see how the album is presented. If I'm just a player on the album or if I'm presented as a member of the band. But anyway, while we were doing the recording of the album at the height of COVID, David Nance's album, I was trying to get Hank Red, saxophone player who played with Stevie Wonder and others. I was trying to get him for the sessions. He had agreed to do it, but COVID complicated it, and then he had some equipment stolen, and that just then it ended. But I'm happy to say that Hank Red is he's a friend. I don't hear from him very often, but I got a call from him yesterday, a wonderful call, I'll remind you folks of who Hank Red is, because I've shown these. Hank Red played horn, saxophone with Stevie Wonder for probably over a decade. And if I'm not mistaken, he helped with arranging the horn section, not just playing, but he was kind of like the lead horn. He told me the story about the song on here, Sir Duke, that huge hit by Stevie Wonder with the super memorable horn break. That was led by Hank Red. He helped Stevie Wonder put that together for the horns. Well, Hank called me yesterday out of the blue. Great call. He called to ask me if I could help him do a recording that he wants to do. Another Stevie Wonder that I had him signed that he's on. Hotter Than July. Very topical. I'll speak more on that in a second. I was blown away. He asked me some questions about what did I know about recording and could I help him set up his home to do a recording that he wants to do. He explained it. I'll keep that to myself until he wants me to talk about it. I said, yeah. And he said, how much you going to charge me? And I said, Hank, the fact that you're asking me to do it is an honor, so we can be very reasonable about this. And then we got to talking about my dad. He was friends with my dad, and his mood just lightened up extremely. He started laughing because we talked for a while. He was good friends with Curly Martin, Terrace Martin's dad, Curly, who just died. And so when Curly came up, Hank almost started weeping on the phone. It was tough. He said, because there's so much information. He's a good guy. Hank is good. There's a big program happening Sunday night. It's Native Omaha Days, and so a lot of black people come back to Omaha for this. And there's several events. One is Sunday night at Slowdown, where they're doing this big tribute to big names in music in Black Omaha. And among the people being honored is my dad, Red Higgins, Hank Red, and others. And it turns out me, I thought they were just doing my dad, but they're doing me as well. Anyway, I asked Hank if he was going to go to that, and that's when he got weepy, because he said it's too soon to be around all those people after losing Curly and some other folks. Another cousin of mine and big person in Omaha, Black Omaha, Ray Matoyer, just passed away. So we got past that, and then I mentioned him the fact that they're honoring my dad, Red, as well, and he just brightened up, and he said, "Oh man, I'm going to make you laugh. I got some stories about your dad. He was my partner." And that was nice. So that's really good news. To be hired, I'm hired by Hank Red, who did horns for Stevie Wonder and others, to record his next project. I'm psyched. Now, besides that, as you know, I'm working slowly on the follow-up to the Muse. I will see, once we get working, if any of my compositions speak to him and if he'd like to contribute to them. We'll see. I'm just happy that he's asking me to work for him and work with him. I'm very pleased. In other music news, today is the Maha Music Festival. I forget how many years it's been going now, but I've never got to play. I've always wanted to, still want to. Icky Blossoms, a band that I helped write a song. I gave them a hook on their first album to the song Heat Lightning. I wrote the hook for it, tried to get publishing for it, couldn't get it. I forgive them, that's business. They got money and business out of it. But they're playing at Maha today. I asked to be considered to play because I played with Icky Blossoms live as well as writing for them. I didn't get picked. I kind of didn't think I would. And I let them know, even though Nick Fackler, you know, is a good friend of mine. I told him I know better than to expect you to pick me. I just hope you do. They picked a young woman named Sarah, and it fits for the way Dereck Presnell sees what he's doing. It does. It fits. So, but anyway, they're playing today. Turnstile is playing. I don't have plans on going, but I may end up going. It's super hot here. It's supposed to get up over 100 today. So I'm in that sense, I'm glad that I don't have to deal with having to play outside in this heat. And it does give me pause as to whether or not to pay money to go out and boil in the sun, because Icky Blossoms plays at 6, and it won't be cool then. Anyway, that's happening today. More music stuff to share with you. In my pile here of records, what's sitting out that maybe, no, I haven't shown these. Sad that, sorry. Sad that about Sinead O'Connor, and also the fact that she died on Mick Jagger's 80th birthday. When I brought him up the other day, I didn't realize it was his birthday. He just, came up. But found out later it was his birthday. This is probably my favorite Stones album, Goat's Head Soup. So I played most of this album. And a friend of mine bought it when it came out. And so Starfucker was, like this, look at the Stones are doing. But there's several really good songs on here. Angie is one. Can You Hear the Music? Coming Down Again, that one. I really like that song. So I played that, really enjoyed it. Had this out to play, got started on it, but then got busy, and so I didn't finish, but it's still out to play some more. Another alias of the future sound of London is Amorphous Androgynous. And this album, the Isness, they put out in 2002. It's trippy. This is something that I want to pay attention more to, because it's like, what is the backstory here? It's very, very interesting sonically, very psychedelic, but I haven't picked up on if there's a thread running through it. So that's out to listen to. Then I played this the other day. For years, this is not an original. I was really wanting a copy. This is one of those albums that, again, for some reason, an original of this is no less than $1,000 to $2,000. Leafhound, Growers of Mushroom. It's a hard rocking album. Peter French of Cactus. This is before he was in Cactus as a singer here. And I forget the other guys in the band. This is good, though. It's a good album. And it does seem like, had it been promoted, that it would have been it would be one of those albums like early albums by Free or 10 Years After, or those rock bands back when rock was the thing, before hip hop took over. Enjoyed that album quite a bit. So that's what's on my plate today. And I have a show Sunday, Noise Fest. I'll rehearse my gadgets today because I'm going to improvise. I have some stuff that I have on my loop pedal that I can that I'll probably use, but the whole idea is to create sound collages in real time in front of a real audience. Oh, that also reminds me that I got another gig also yesterday. I like how sometimes things just, one thing happens and another thing happens. But Pet Fest is an annual music festival that happens here in Omaha, in the Benson area. I played it a few times. Last year I played it with David Nance. That was one of the local shows that David Nance did that I played. Well, this year they announced the lineup, and I thought about it, and I thought to myself, I didn't even know how to apply to be on the show. So once I saw that they announced it, I got a hold. I know the promoters. I said, well, I didn't really know how to apply, but to be honest with you, I'd like to play. I played last year with David, so they got back to me, and they added me. I get an early slot, not an evening slot, but I get to play, and I'm happy about that because I was watching again this documentary called The Art of Listening. It's pretty good. I had not watched it all the way through, but several people talk in the documentary about how some people make music for an audience, other people make music first for themselves. I'm that. But at the same time, even when you're making music for yourself, you do want people to hear it. But I'm the sort of person who is not thinking about the audience when I'm writing and recording. That's just not the way I work. But I want people to hear it. So I got a hold of Zach of the BFF crew who organized this and said, if a spot opens up, I didn't know how to apply to play, but I'd like to play. He got right back to me, and said, yeah, we can get you on. It'll be early slot, but yeah, I like playing music for people, and I want more people to hear my stuff. So I'm happy to have this opportunity to do another live set, like the one I did at Essential Fest. It'll be me with my computer and keyboard. So that's what's going on, folks. Stay safe, folks. This weather ain't nothing to play around with.